Are you finding yourself making more trips to the bathroom lately, especially at night? Do you feel that nagging discomfort, that constant urge, or perhaps even a little leakage that makes you hesitate before leaving the house? You're certainly not alone. So many wonderful people like you, as we gracefully enter our 60s and beyond, start to experience these subtle, sometimes embarrassing, changes with our bladder and kidney health. It's easy to dismiss them as just a part of aging, something inevitable we simply have to live with. But what if I told you that for many of us, the very foods we've always enjoyed, perhaps even relied on, are silently contributing to these frustrating issues? It's a surprising truth, and one that many urologists are now highlighting. Imagine regaining a sense of freedom, sleeping soundly through the night, and feeling more confident in your day-to-day life, just by making a few simple adjustments to your plate. In this important video, we're going to uncover 5 specific foods that, according to urology experts, you really should consider avoiding or significantly limiting once you're over 60. These aren't just common foods. They're often culprits behind unnecessary bladder irritation, kidney strain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. You'll be amazed at the difference these changes can make. So, settle in, because you'll want to watch all the way to the very end for a powerful insight that might just change the way you think about your daily meals. Now, let's dive right into the first category of foods that can be surprisingly problematic for your urinary system. As you get older, those highly processed meats and excessively salty snacks. Think about your favorite breakfast sausages, that delicious bacon, sliced deli meats for sandwiches, or even those crunchy crisps and salted nuts you might enjoy throughout the day. While they might be convenient or taste great, they often come packed with an alarming amount of sodium, preservatives, and nitrates. Our bodies, especially our kidneys, work tirelessly to filter out excess sodium. When we constantly bombard them with high-salt foods, it puts an enormous strain on these vital organs. Over time, this can contribute to higher blood pressure, which is a major risk factor for kidney damage. Imagine your kidneys like delicate filters. Too much sodium is like trying to push thick, sludgy water through them. It makes them work harder, and eventually, they can wear down beyond the kidney strain. That excess sodium also leads to fluid retention. While you might think of swollen ankles, this fluid imbalance can affect your entire body, including your bladder. Some of the preservatives and artificial additives found in these processed meats can also be direct irritants to the bladder lining, leading to increased frequency, urgency, and that uncomfortable feeling of never quite emptying your bladder. It's not just about how much you drink. It's also about what you're eating that's causing your bladder to be perpetually annoyed. A gentleman I know, David, was constantly getting up 2 or 3 times a night, disrupting his sleep and making him feel perpetually tired. He loved his morning bacon and sausage, and his afternoon ham sandwiches. When his urologist suggested cutting back on these highly processed, salty foods, he was skeptical. But after just a few weeks of opting for lean chicken or fish, and swapping his crisps for a handful of unsalted almonds or fresh fruit, he was amazed. His nighttime trip significantly reduced, and he felt more rested and energetic during the day. It really does make a tangible difference. So, when you're reaching for that quick bite, pause and ask yourself if there's a fresher, less salty alternative available. Opt for grilled chicken, baked fish, or even a good old-fashioned homemade soup with less salt. Reading food labels for sodium content becomes your superpower here. Aim for lower sodium options whenever possible. Moving on to our second surprising culprit, we need to talk about those sweet, tempting beverages and the cunning artificial sweeteners hiding in many diet options. I'm talking about fizzy sodas, those seemingly innocent fruit juices with added sugars, and even some of the so-called diet drinks that promise 0 calories. Now, you might think, what harm can a little soda do? Well, for starters, The sheer amount of refined sugar in regular sodas and many packaged fruit juices can contribute to inflammation throughout your body. Chronic inflammation is a silent enemy, affecting everything from your joints to your organs. And when it comes to your bladder, sugar can also create an environment where certain bacteria thrive, potentially leading to urinary tract infections or exacerbating existing bladder sensitivities. But here's where it gets even more interesting, and perhaps a bit deceptive: artificial sweeteners. Many people switch to diet drinks thinking they're making a healthier choice, especially for weight management. However, for a significant number of people over 60, these artificial compounds like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin can act as direct bladder irritants. They don't just pass through your system, they can cause your bladder lining to become hypersensitive, leading to that frustrating cycle of urgency, frequency, and sometimes even pain. It's almost as if your bladder is constantly ringing an alarm bell, even when it's not full. I recall Evelyn, who swore by her daily Diet Cola. She was experiencing severe bladder spasms and urgency, making her dread long car journeys. After her urologist suggested eliminating all artificially sweetened products and sugary drinks, she found it hard at first, but within a month, she felt like a different person. Her bladder calmed down, and those constant urges diminished dramatically. She discovered that plain water with a slice of lemon or cucumber, or even unsweetened herbal teas, were perfectly satisfying alternatives. So, next time you're thirsty, reach for plain water first. It's truly the best hydrator for your bladder and kidneys, and it comes with no hidden irritants or sugar spikes. If you need a little flavor, try infusing your water with fresh fruits like berries or citrus, or enjoy a comforting cup of unsweetened green or herbal tea. Your bladder will thank you for it. Now that we've delved into how processed meats and sugary beverages can impact your urological health, let's turn our attention to another very common item found in almost every household: excessive caffeine and highly acidic beverages. For many of us, that morning cup of coffee or tea is a cherished ritual, a comforting start to the day. And a little bit of caffeine might not be an issue for everyone. However, when we consume too much, think multiple large cups of coffee or strong black tea throughout the day, or even those popular energy drinks, it can become a real problem for your bladder. Caffeine is a natural diuretic, meaning it encourages your kidneys to produce more urine, making you feel the urge to go more frequently. But beyond that, the compounds in caffeine can also act as a direct irritant to the bladder lining. It's like constantly poking your bladder with a stick. It gets annoyed, inflamed, and overactive. This leads to that frustrating cycle of urgency and frequency, and can even contribute to nighttime awakenings for bathroom trips, severely impacting your precious sleep. Imagine trying to settle down for the night, only to have your bladder insist it needs attention every couple of hours. This isn't just about convenience. Consistent sleep disruption can have wide-ranging negative effects on your overall health, mood, and cognitive function. It's not just caffeine either. Highly acidic beverages, such as large quantities of citrus juices like orange or grapefruit juice, and even some tomato-based products like sauces or soups, can also irritate a sensitive bladder. While these foods offer valuable nutrients, their acidity can be a trigger for bladder discomfort in some individuals, much like how spicy food can irritate your stomach. Consider John, a lifelong coffee lover who drank 3 large mugs every morning and often had a couple more in the afternoon. He was constantly struggling with bladder urgency and often felt he couldn't leave the house without knowing where the nearest restroom was. His urologist gently suggested trying decaf coffee for a week and observing the change. Reluctantly, John gave it a go. To his astonishment, within just a few days, the constant pressure on his bladder subsided, and he found himself feeling much more comfortable and in control. He didn't have to give up coffee entirely, but switching to decaf or significantly reducing his intake of regular coffee and opting for water or herbal teas instead made a world of difference. When it comes to citrus juices, Try diluting them with water or enjoying them in smaller quantities, and observe how your body responds. It's all about finding that balance that works for your unique system. Now, let's talk about something many of us love for its flavor and kick: very spicy foods. From fiery curries to hot sauces and chili peppers, spicy dishes are a staple in many cuisines around the world. But for your bladder, especially as you age, that heat can translate into irritation. The active compound in chili peppers, capsaicin, is what gives them their heat. While it's renowned for its potential benefits in other areas of health, when it passes through your digestive system and into your urinary tract, it can act as an inflammatory agent. Think of it this way: if a food makes your mouth or stomach feel hot or burn, there's a good chance it can have a similar irritating effect on the delicate lining of your bladder. This irritation can manifest as increased urgency, frequency, and sometimes even a burning sensation during urination, mimicking the symptoms of a urinary tract infection without the actual infection. It can be quite a surprise when someone realizes their favorite spicy dish is actually causing their bladder distress. I recall Eleanor, who adored her weekly Indian takeaway, always opting for the hottest vindaloo. She was constantly battling unexplained bladder discomfort and frequent urges. Her doctor suggested keeping a food diary to track potential triggers. It wasn't until she skipped her spicy meal one week that she noticed a significant improvement in her bladder symptoms. It was a clear aha moment for her. She didn't have to abandon Indian food entirely, but switching to milder options, or asking for less spice, completely resolved her issues. It's about listening to your body. If you notice that after a particularly spicy meal, you're making more frequent trips to the bathroom, or experiencing discomfort, it's a clear signal that your bladder might be sensitive to the heat. Experiment with reducing the spice level in your cooking, or opt for flavorful herbs and spices that don't carry the same inflammatory punch, like garlic, ginger, turmeric, or cumin. Your taste buds might adjust, and your bladder will certainly thank you for the gentler approach. Finally, let's explore our fifth and often overlooked food category that can pose challenges for your urological health after excessive consumption of red meat, especially processed or heavily charred varieties. Now, a juicy steak or a hearty roast might be a beloved part of your diet, and red meat does offer essential nutrients like iron and B vitamins. However, when consumed in large quantities regularly, or when prepared in certain ways, it can contribute to issues that impact your kidneys and bladder. One of the primary concerns with excessive red meat, particularly for those prone to kidney stones, is its purine content. Purines are natural compounds found in certain foods, and when your body breaks them down, they produce uric acid. While uric acid is normally flushed out by your kidneys, high levels can lead to the formation of uric acid kidney stones, which, as you might know, can be incredibly painful. For men, there's also an ongoing conversation, though not definitively proven, about the potential link between very high red meat consumption and certain aspects of prostate health, which is directly related to urological well-being. Furthermore, red meat can be more challenging for your digestive system to break down, and some studies suggest that a diet consistently high in red meat can contribute to overall systemic inflammation in the body. Just like we discussed with processed foods, inflammation can exacerbate existing conditions and make your bladder more sensitive and reactive. Think about how you cook red meat too. Heavily charred or grilled meats can produce compounds called heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, which are formed when muscle meat is cooked at high temperatures. While these are more commonly linked to other health concerns, the general principle of easing the load on your body as you age holds true. Your body's ability to process and eliminate waste products changes over time, and a diet rich in lighter, easier to digest proteins can make a significant difference. Consider someone like Robert, who had a strong tradition of eating red meat almost every day, often a large portion for dinner. He began experiencing fatigue and some vague urinary discomfort. After a discussion with his doctor, he decided to scale back his red meat consumption to just a couple of times a week, opting for more fish, chicken, and plant-based protein sources like lentils and beans on other days. He also started steaming or baking his meats more often, rather than always grilling them until charred. Robert was pleasantly surprised not only by the reduction in his urinary symptoms, but also by how much more energetic and less sluggish he felt overall. He realized that a balanced approach, where red meat is enjoyed in moderation rather than as a daily staple, was key to feeling his best. So, when you consider your plate, think about portion control for red meat, and explore incorporating more lean proteins from sources like poultry, fish, eggs, and a variety of plant-based options. These lighter choices can ease the burden on your kidneys and bladder, and help reduce inflammation throughout your system. It's about making thoughtful swaps that truly nourish your body without causing unnecessary strain. You see, it all comes back to being kind to your body as it gracefully ages. We've talked about limiting those highly processed and salty snacks, cutting back on sugary and artificially sweetened drinks, being mindful of excessive caffeine and acidic beverages, scaling back on very spicy foods, and moderating your intake of heavy red meats. These aren't about strict deprivation. They're about making informed, gentle choices that empower you to live more comfortably and freely. Remember, every small change you make truly can add up to a big difference in your health and happiness, especially when it comes to something as vital as your urological well-being. It's about feeling more in control, enjoying better sleep, and having the confidence to go about your day without constant worries. I genuinely hope this conversation has given you some valuable insights and actionable steps to consider. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Have you noticed any of these foods affecting you? What small changes have you found helpful? Please share your wisdom in the comments below. Your insights could help someone else watching this video. And if you found this video helpful and encouraging, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. We're here to share more practical tips and uplifting advice to help you navigate this wonderful stage of life with vitality and joy. Thank you for joining me today. Keep embracing these healthy habits and continue to live your best life, feeling wonderful and confident at every age.